Hello and thank you tuning into another episode of I Am Rohtak's alumni podcast Kathorwani. Today we have with us our guest, Mr. Ashish Gaur. Mr. Gaur graduated from I Am Rohtak in 2019. He has since then been working with HCL Technologies as a deputy manager. He has previously completed his BTech in the field of electronics and communication engineering. We welcome you, sir. And now over to Bina to take the conversation forward.
Hello, sir. Although Pooja has given a brief introduction about yourself, but we would like to know more about your professional and also the academic journey.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast. It's a really great initiative and really glad to be a part of this. Your the background is correct, but I'll start a little before that. So, we have that habit of when you introduce yourself for this MBA program, so it comes into a habit. So, I come from a small town called as Kotdwara in Uttarakhand state. I moved to Delhi around my 10th, and after completing my schooling and 12th over here in Delhi, I joined IP University for my electronics and communication BTech degree. Worked, and after 4 years of degree completion, I was able to crack one of the MNCs and shifted base to Bangalore. So it was a change for me because I've been living at home for an extended amount of time. This was the first time that I was living on my own, so it was an experience in itself. But when you go out, you see, get a perspective of how everyone is doing. So after a few years, you'll see people going for their MS, pursuing MTech, somebody planning for their MBA, or maybe after gaining some experience, switching into a different job. So from there, I started thinking like, let's go for something better. How we can extend the career, and you know uh, what are the options that I basically have. So I finalized on MBA. I should have ideally cleared my converted some IM a year, ideally a year before, but then I couldn't convert any big college. It took another year, and then I was able to do some conversions and got through in IM Rohtak. After pursuing my MBA and completing it in 2019, I got an opportunity to work in digital marketing field first in one of the NBFCs based out of Kerala, and then I switched a little while later into my current role, which is into IT pre-sales at an MNC or in Delhi NCR. So yeah, that's how it has been. And if I have to go through the whole journey thing, so just like every other folk, I think a lot of IT folks, they try to go and pursue an MBA. So I was also in the same dilemma maybe some 6 or 7 years back, that how should I progress my career. So I was obviously tired of the monotony, and I was thinking like, this is what I want and want to do for forever, because you see people working in the same coding field for 10 years, 8 years, and progressing gradually. So I was thinking like, how can I improve, how can I make my career to jumpstart, and what is the way that I can go ahead. So always had an inclination towards MBA. However, I did appear for my GRE. I was also preparing for MS, and I was able to get a really decent score of 325 out of 340. And after that, it was a long time on which I did research. I talked to a lot of people from both sides of the spectrum, people having knowledge and who have done their MS from outside, and people who have pursued their MBA. So after that, I thought that yes, I made a final decision. MBA is the one for me, and my top options were from apart from all the new IIMs, I had IIM Shillong, and there was another sustainability management course at IIM Lucknow. So these were my top converts. I did a comparison with IIM Shillong and IIM Rohtak because I wanted to stay, preferably near my home, and the kind of profiles that I could expect for someone from my background, I saw it would be similar at both the places. So I thought, let's just take the option of somewhere near my home, and I decided to go for IIM Rohtak for that reason itself. So arriving from the point of to do an MBA to final making decision, it was a lot of investment from my part, emotionally, effort wise, and talk to a lot of people. So yeah, that's how the whole journey came about.
Okay, sir. Based on this description, I have a question for you. Like, you went for MBA after 4.5 years of working in industry. And
Mhm.
when we compare it with the general work experience that people have here is around 26 to 27 months. So is there
Right.
any kind of disadvantages, advantages or challenges that you faced with this kind of work experience?
Yeah. So exactly. So one of the beauty of doing an MBA is you see people from various background, various work ex. Some are fresh out of the college, somebody coming from a commerce background, somebody coming from a finance background, somebody from an engineering background. So for my profile, having a high work experience, general engineering male profile, the advantage was like I have an idea of how an office works, right? How our professional relations and dynamics handled in a corporate setting, how are client interactions handled, what are the formal etiquette, so your email etiquette, how do you draft a response. All of these are like key skills for an MBA. So I had a first hand knowledge of that. Then to know your market worth, that is one of the key thing you should know, especially when you're trying to switch from one profile, or maybe for the same profile into a different organization. You get to know how you can evaluate your own skills. And then communication and presentation skill, definitely, because you have to make a lot of presentation to the customer internally, for the team meetings, so on and so forth. Now coming to the disadvantage of having a very high work experience is you have a limited profile options if you want to uh, get into certain sectors. So for example, for me it is really difficult to get into a sector like FMCG, who are looking for people with little to no work ex, right? So I had to align my expectation accordingly. Then changing a professional track is a problem, especially if you have been siloed and you already have a lot of experience. So for example, somebody with my profile want to drastically change into an finance profile, want to go into investment banking. So you can do that with a lot of hard work. A lot of people have done that, but you won't be able to leverage your previous and past work experience. So basically you will be starting off at the same level. So let's say someone without an experience, having a finance background, doing their finance courses, and then starting off the same journey. So that is one thing you will have to keep in mind of. And also you might have to compromise on compensation sometime, right? So you'll have your peers who are not doing their graduation, maybe switching into a different company, upgrading their technology. They will at the start, you will feel like they are getting a much higher salary, and they have not made the kind of investment that you have made into MBA. So sometime you will have to make that compromise. So I think if on a broader level, these are the main advantage and disadvantage. But if you want to plan your target profile, you should understand how you can leverage your own skills. So for example, I was really interested in marketing, and something that leverage my technical skill as well. So not directly, but digital marketing as a tool, you have to be technically sound as well. You need to put your creativity, you need to put your concept that you learned in MBA. So it was a perfect amalgamation for me. So that was another profile that I targeted with my work profile, and fortunately I was able to get through.
Okay, sir. Sir, since you have been working in digital marketing sector after your MBA, so would you like to share with us what are the few factors one should consider before executing digital marketing for a new product, and how has been your experience with it so far?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to get a PPO from the same organization from where I did internship. It was a really great experience. I got to live and work in the beautiful state of Kerala. I got to meet with fellow interns from other top MBA colleges, so it was a great networking opportunity. It is a normal trend, and how a trend interns are treated across various organizations. So they are usually treated as temporary resource, or they are made to work on mundane projects. So that's the track you will be automatically given to you. But it's important to network. It is important to understand the system and propose value. So for example, in our case, I did my internship during 2018, and that time WhatsApp for Business was in its pilot phase, and there were payment option available that you can refer someone and you'll have the payment opportunity in WhatsApp. Since we were working in NBFC, who cater to basically the lower pyramid of the customers, who are basically people who do not have access to the credit on the banking system. So it was a great option because most of the people we see have smartphones. You can devise your marketing strategy, and we showcased the same during the final presentation with the leadership. And since there was a lot of interest created, because we were talking to a lot of teams, you see how you can do the integration. We tried to create some proof of concept, and everybody was interested. So though at end of the day, the efficacy or the kind of revenue that it generated for the organization was very minimal, but the whole project itself was able to create a mark for us. And during that time, it was the first time that the organization was handing out PPOs. And it is a great news that out of the four people who finally made it, three were from IIM Rohtak itself. So yeah, it says a lot of the credibility of the organization. So need to keep that in mind, that if you are stepping out into an organization, you are ambassador of the college. Everybody will say, if you are going to do some great work, everybody will say, oh, where this person has did their graduation. So the college name is always associated with you.
Okay, sir. So the next question is that people in MBA aspirants and also the current batch is not very aware about IT pre-sales department as much as they're
Right.
aware about marketing and finance as the particular field. Since you're working as a deputy manager in HCL and in the same department, would you like to throw some light on this sector and what skill one needs to get into this?
Yeah. So IT pre-sales, specifically for someone who has worked or is working in IT, if I have to explain them, it is where the business side of thing come into picture. So usually, if you're a developer, you are working, you're tagged to a various project, your deliverables will be more like make some change or enhancement, create a new product. You will be getting direction from somewhere. You might give your point of views that will make some kind of difference, but you will not have the power to make the decision. Now if you come to the IT pre-sales, this is where the whole engagement start, right? So before the whole team is formed, onboard developer, you will have a timeline of the project, maybe 5 year 3 year, whatever. Before that, the company or organization, they will usually float in something called a document called as a request for proposal, or RFP. So, folks who are in the second year, if you have taken elective of IT, in one of the subject you will get to know what are RFPs, what are RFQ, what are RFI. Basically, it is in how we say in India, tenders basically. So there is a requirement in certain organization, they want to make some change to their technological landscape. So the sales people will come to you. You will act as a conduit between the people who are hardcore technical people and the sales function. So you act as a bridge because you need to have your presentation skill on point. You should be able to comfortably make presentation to the clients, make engaging pitch, enable sales, but you should also be aware of the technical functions. You need not be a hardcore coder, but you should be aware about the limitations, the functions of a certain technology or a tool, and you should be able to make a pitch for it. Right, so there will be multiple options. You will be working with other teams as well. Sometimes there will be shortlist. There is something called as solution discussion, solution defense, wherein the customers will have a 1 or 2 day session back to back with various vendors, and they will make a decision on which are they going forward with. And these are all $1 million deals. So if you have a knack for technology, and you also have want to put your MBA skill in to direct use, pre-sales is the way to go, right? You actually feel that there is a bigger area that you are able to cover through it. If you're working as a single individual contributor in IT that I was working in, you are very siloed in your response, right? You know what teams are around you, the teams, how they are working, but you'll not know how the whole business function takes place, right? So that is one of the experience that you get to work in IT pre-sales. And if you are trying to get into it from a hardcore IT background, I would strongly recommend it.
Okay, sir. Sir, next question is that a lot of people are here from engineering background, and when somebody comes for MBA, they are specifically looking for a field change or maybe a profile change. But you have continued with your old IT profile. So was it a planned decision, or did you go with the flow, or I mean, did you think about it? Like, why did you not change your field?
Yeah, so I did change my profile a bit when I was working in the digital marketing sector, but it was a planned decision all along. I knew my option, or let's say I was targeting a finance profile. Uh, I thought my past experience, the skill that I already have, I'll have to compromise in it. Plus, my inclination was more toward marketing. So, where can I merge both my skills, my love for technical trends and how things work in the technical arena, and how you can put your managerial skills and your marketing skill into function. So the combination of it, digital marketing profile was the one that I was targeting since the day one of the college. And yes, after I converted it, I got my PPO, I joined the organization. There was some incident on the personal front for which I had to move back to my home, towards Delhi. So at that time, I was actively looking for opportunities. I networked with a lot of people. LinkedIn and other forum where I connected with the alumni were really, really helpful for me. And since the pre-sales role, I got to read about it. I had a bit of idea of what exactly the role entails. It was really interesting and engaging to me, and I appeared for it. Converted couple of them, and I had an opportunity to work in Bangalore as well, and Pune were the other options. But since priority was to stay near home, I took the option of the company that I'm working in right now in Delhi NCR. And fortunately, I didn't have to make a lot of sacrifice on the compensation part, and got a really great opportunity where I can use and leverage my previous experience as well. So I'll not be treated as a fresher. I didn't go as a management trainee, but a direct designation, and the responsibilities were there, and I was expected to deliver from day one itself.
Okay. Sir, the next question that I have for you is that how important it is for the student, I mean, MBA student and all the student across the country, to stay in touch with the artificial intelligence and the cloud services that are there. I mean, to stay in touch with technology mainly.
Right, right. So these are all emerging trends in IT who are changing the complete landscape, right? We are entering an era where individual contributors will find it difficult and difficult to work in silos. Now, I know there are certain roles, for example, researchers or academicians who have to, work day in and day out, mostly on their own. But what my perception is for mostly true for people who are looking out for job opportunities after MBA. So the machine age is already there, and visionaries like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, they have already weighed on it, right? How the effect of rise of technology is going to be on the job market. Now, the non-machine or non-automated function or part of the skill, for example, human elements like collaboration, leadership, creativity, and problem solving, they are really valuable skill for any organization across any vertical, right? So we should all realize that we are way past the time when one can expect to crack a really high paying job and earn till retirement essentially doing the same work, right? We all have heard about those cases where somebody, in the old times, they will crack some really good job and then they will retire from the same designation. Now the trend is very fast changing and emerging environment. We will experience disruption regularly. And to be honest, a lot of traditional jobs are going to go out. Job losses are inevitable, right? But at the same time, on the bright side is for students like us, it is also true that a vast resource of information and upskilling options are available, which were not there previously, right? You have an option of working through many freelance portals like Upwork, and these are really handy not only if you have to test waters in some new skill, or if you want to even experience how do you stack against the competition. You think that you are really great in certain skill, you can go out and see what are all the options available in the market. It's like a free open marketplace, and you can see how you fare among others. We know, and coming to the part on the MBA, I know it needs a lot of improvement, but we cannot wait for it to basically get effective in meeting the challenges, right? I feel we are not bounded by it. It does take time and effort and introspection to decide on what skill you are most comfortable in monetizing, but all of that pays off eventually, right? So now that may sound a bit like a pitch for a certain children-centric coding app or a call to drop out. However, the point I'm trying to make is do not let course curriculum decide what you should pursue as a career. Think of it as an evolving pursuit which requires periodic nurturing.
Okay. Sir, now is the last question from the formal section is that with the arrival of COVID-19, we are seeing a learning gap. I mean, we do not even have a proper benchmark to compare our learning with the actual MBA. So, what can be few of the advices from your side so that this learning gap is minimized and the losses that we're facing is mitigated?
Okay. So again, all of the new batch folks who have joined during this COVID season, it is a great challenge, right? And to be honest, the kind of experience that you guys are having, not everyone, this is the first time that we are having this kind of situation. So it is very difficult for anybody else to understand. There are certain challenges associated with it, right? Because you also understand a lot of value that MBAs derive is from the lively interaction and networking, right? You get a lesson on team building, on the experience that you get while chasing that 3 a.m. deadline, right? Sitting on the campus, making somebody work. Somehow you're able to, get something that you're not able to, work on your own. Somehow getting help from someone else to get it completed. So all of that is part of experience that you are doing digitally. I'm pretty sure even now, but the sense that you get, being in the vicinity is something else. But that is not to say that there is no silver lining. I think if that is more than compensated, on the plus side, if you look that you can network, but then you should also understand the same thing you can apply to approach other alumni, not only of your own college. If you are from an IIM, and let's say if I approach someone from an IIM Bangalore or a IIM Ahmedabad, more often than not people will respond to you, right? And you can get some valuable guidance from them. You can, use that network opportunity to build your network to get a guidance. This will also help you, when you're more often than not looking for opportunities, but also if you're stuck at a certain role and requires guidance or mentorship, right? So you will have the people that you know in your fingertip. Try to make the best of the opportunity, try to network as much as you can. And team building exercise and other thing that you would like to get from MBA, try to make sure that it is not hampered just because you guys are not in the campus. And hopefully once the campus open, you might be having a great celebration or a get together, and have an additional layer of MBA experience added that you might be missing right now.
So, sir, we'd like to thank you for making out of your busy schedule to be here today. We truly had an enriching experience. We learned from your experiences. We spoke about advice that you would have for us to make our careers better. It was our pleasure learning from you, and we are grateful that we had you as our guest on the show today. Thank you again, sir. Thanks a lot.